Hey viewers, good evening, and this is Sandeep Nath. We're starting the Renewalism show a little late today because we had a little technical bottleneck with our guest from Dubai, Christian Farioli. As you can see, we are not able to see his screen at the moment. But if you're able to hear me, just type in yes, because I want to be sure that we have Christian on very soon with audio and video. And in the meantime, my audio is coming across to you. So can we have some yeses there if you're able to hear me clearly? Or do we have a technical snag right at the start on both sides? Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for confirming that you can hear me there. So while we wait for Christian's bottleneck to clear out, very soon you're going to see him on the screen. Meanwhile, let me tell you what the Renewalism show is about and why it's a great idea to be here every evening at 9 o'clock. What we're doing is we're discussing a concept of renewal, which is captured in the book that you see on the screen. Now, this book was released just this week, and it's a very unique book because it was written by a channeling of an energy form. So this is something that is not coming out of an author's mind, so to say. I'll just take that off so that we have more space, and maybe I'll just wait for Christian to come on. So this was a book that came out of a channeling which happened in November, December last year. And the channeling was about habits that would raise human consciousness, our consciousness, to coexist with the planet and to be at peace, harmony, and in a state of better well being internally. That's achieved by 30 habits that were enunciated by a certain Guru Pranachandra, who I would believe is an energy form that just made me write whatever I wrote about it. And as this manifested, the COVID crisis came along, and we discovered that a lot of the habits were actually bringing about positive change on the planet. Now, one of those habits, for instance, is telecommuting. We have been forced into a reality which is bringing the air into, bringing the air cleaner, bringing the dolphins into the waters around us. And just a moment, I see Christian is back. Nope. So now I see him here. Right. Welcome, Christian. Good to have you on the show.
You're welcome. Great seeing you
All right.
again, Sandeep.
Fantastic. Fantastic. In the meantime, let me just complete the story with the viewers. So this whole concept of clearing up the air and the waters and the planet as such has almost been forced into a reality for us. And that's something that Guru Pranachandra advocated as something we could do proactively. And that would be what is called renewalism. So now we've launched the book and we've got the site renewalism.com. And we are having these discussions every day to discuss one of those habits and what it takes for you and me to start applying them. So Christian is a digital marketer who's doing substantial work across the Middle East and Europe, and he's also the author of the Pizza Guide to Digital Marketing. He's a coach and a speaker, and that brings, that practically makes him the authority on the digital space and how we can be looking at digital economies in the future. With or without COVID, that would have been happening. But today, let's talk about post COVID. How is telecommuting going to pan out? And Christian, this is my first question to you. Do you see that a lot of organizations like Twitter and Google, who have taken the lead in saying that till 2021, 2022, they're not going to have people in their coming to their offices, do you see that as an increasing trend even with smaller companies?
That's for sure. Actually, I start noticing this kind of trend in 2003. Because in 2003, I was working in Ireland, and suddenly I started working for Oracle, the company that invented database, the Fortune 500 company. And in Oracle in 2003, there was already a very smart company, which was MySQL. I'm sure that some of you
Right,
knows
right.
about this other database. They were already having most of their employee working from home. So this was 2003 in Ireland. So for me, it was already a revolution to think, how come the dream of everyone is start to work for an organization and there is somebody that hire people from home. At the time,
Right.
I was definitely not motivated, not interested into thinking about something like that. But obviously, after working few years, then when you start realizing it, that to work in a company is nice, but if you have a family and kids, etc., then it's much better to have a free time. That's when
Right.
companies start having this kind of tendency. And even many years ago, I started noticing in the news that Silicon Valley companies, they used to give also working from home possibilities. And again, I was thinking, that's a little bit crazy. How can somebody work from home? But I'm talking about more than a decade ago. And even in Dubai, a very good friend of mine, he used to work for Microsoft. He still works for Microsoft, but he was the first that maybe 5 years ago, he started working few days a week from home. And then other companies start doing exactly the same. So this became literally a trend for large organizations in order for them to attract the best talents. Because before, to attract a good talent, you need to get a good salary.
Right.
You are going to work for me because I need to pay you twice as much as what somebody else is paying you. And then another organization is going to pay you more and you're going to work for them. And another is going to pay you more and you're going to switch company. Until one organization, they can tell you, I can give you the possibility to work from home. You have a family and kids and stuff. Bingo, that's when good top employees start thinking, that's good for me because I can have a little bit of time for my family.
Right.
So this was a major revolution in the big businesses. In the small businesses, this started because of the COVID. But even though many digital agency, including myself, I'm running my digital agency in Dubai for the last 10 years, working from wherever I like. And all of my employees they do exactly the same. They work from wherever they like. Actually, some of my employees, they are also in India. Some of them
Uh-huh.
are in Philippines. Some of them are in Italy. So for me, it doesn't make any difference where your company is located, where your physical presence is located. At the same time, I also noticed that at the global level, nobody care where your company is located. Now, what's the difference? If your company is located in Spain, in Portugal, in Italy, in some case, it can be trendy and fancy to have a company located in Switzerland if you are a pharmaceutical company. Or if you are a car manufacturing company, you should be located in Germany, right? That's where most of the good cars come from. But at the end of the day, even the Volkswagen and BMW, etc., they're not mostly built 100% there. They're built in a lot of different locations and then assembled in different locations and sold in different locations. So as much as the headquarters is based in Germany, the physical location of the factories is all over around the globe. So imagine your employees located all over around the globe. At the end of the day, who cares? If your employees are all based in the same compound, in the same building of everywhere else. Also, it's been noticed that employee working remotely, they ended up working more. Now, I'm not talking about entry level because entry level, you need to have a kind of manager in place to check how they work, how much they've done, to have KPI to measure them. But once the employee is responsible for his own division, wherever they're located, it doesn't matter. And then it happens in many cases, again with big size companies, that a team was based in one country and that manager was based in another country. That's another interesting concept that the normal person, a normal businessman, he can think, but I want to check my employees. What are they
Right.
doing?
Right.
Actually, it's better to give them the chance to do whatever they like as soon as they deliver the KPI that they're supposed to deliver. So, and doesn't make any difference if you're sitting at 1 meter from them or not. Because I know many organizations, the employee, when they're sitting at the computer, what do? They go to Facebook, they chat with friends, they watch movies in Netflix, any kind of stuff. Doesn't make any difference that you are based in the same office or not. So as soon as the management style change to adapt this attitude, this new way, then everyone's going to feel better. There is going to be obviously more trust involved, and then companies are growing like that.
Great, Christian. So the point you're making is very. I hope we have a lot of operational managers listening to this because it's about restructuring the thinking of companies, no matter what size they be, like yours or something the size of Google. But the reason that this book Renewal talks about this, the habit, precisely what he says is that use the internet but connect humanly as far as possible,
Yeah.
because the power of human connection is strong in terms of our energetic interchange, and he's coming from the point of view of the internet is very good for saving environmental resources and reducing the cars in the street and getting things done, documentation and stuff like that is perfect. But where it comes to making a connection, closing a deal, or sharing an idea, he is a strong advocate of doing it humanly. Now, we have a very interesting comment from Minu here, who's talking about VR and AR and 5G technologies. And I would like you to let us a little ahead of the curve here, because if we have these technologies, what do you think is the significance of human interaction at all?
Now that's interesting. That's a lot your sphere since I got the chance to meet you when we were together in Mumbai, and I mean I'm a man. I'm a digital person. I'm somebody that 17 years ago started launching digital campaigns and so on. So I mean, it's true that in one side, what everyone knows and says that digital is putting people apart, but at the end of the day, digital is also helping people to get connected, even when they're not one next to each other. Let's say I'm looking even at my kids. That sometimes you might think, oh, they are all connected to the iPad. Obviously, we make sure that they have some time playing together, playing at normal games, not always iPad, computer, and stuff. But at the end of
Right.
the day, even they start connecting with some of their friends that they are in Italy, in different countries, and they keep connecting, playing video games together. So they're not physically playing together, but they are digitally playing together. So they keep connected digitally. Then every now and then they got the chance to meet together. Even sometime we do with me and my wife and the parents of these kids sometimes some kind of Skype call, so they got the chance to chit chat about with them, etc., etc. So this is, if we like it or not, the new way for new generation to communicate. Have a chat call, have a play together in WhatsApp, in some Minecraft game, etc., etc., and sometimes having a Skype call. Then I mean, nobody knows what's going to happen to the society 10 or 20 years from now because only the future, the reality can tell us. But it's true that kids, they find somebody that they really get along with and they really want to spend more time with them. Doesn't matter if they are located at the opposite side of the planet. Technology help them connecting in a way that nobody can predict because, as I say, they start sharing idea, video games, way of thinking, and now their way of thinking it's this new way of video games and technology and digital. So
Right.
you are involved much more into the spirituality part, which that unfortunately I cannot see yet much spirituality in so much digital. So unless somebody come out with some new way of doing it, it's still gonna be a little bit of a challenge. But I'm sure that if somebody believe that the challenge can be solved, then there is always some way that technology can help solving it.
Great. I'm really loving the way this thing is going, because you are saying that technology is going to always be an enabler, and it's going to make things easier. And like we're seeing kids interacting. In fact, Renewal has a specific habit about kids interacting on these gaming platforms. But I'm not going to talk about that today. I want to
Yeah.
come back to two things. One is, like, you put the ball in my court because I'm an inner park coach. I would say that the kind of bonding and the kind of trust that you develop with a human interaction, like you rightly said, we met in Bombay, we met before that in Dubai, and it is these
Yeah.
interactions that we've had that make me so positive that whatever, for instance, a technology glitch happens at 9 o'clock, but Christian, I know him energetically, and if he's coming on this call, he's coming on this call. There is no doubt about it. But if we had had only a VR interaction or uh, only a Skype interaction in the past, probably the certainty of Christian showing up would have been a little doubtful in my mind. So that's why that one interaction or two interactions that have happened have built an energetic bond, which, to my mind, is the foundation of strong relationships. Um, it remains to be seen, like you said, nobody can predict whether that foundation can be built totally online. In fact, we have Nokia evidently is pioneering pervasive 5G platforms, as one of our listeners writes. And also, she's talking about healthcare and how doctors are using technology. But that's absolutely right. Like you said, doctors are using it's an enabler. But is it a replacement for human interaction? I am pretty sure, coming from the inner past space, no, it's not a complete replacement. Another reason for that, and like I said, there are two things. The second one is where I want your comment. And I'm going to read this from the book actually, because he makes a very specific mention about this. He says that uh, here it is. The internet presents several other fine lines which we must be increasingly sensitive to. Fake news and now fake videos, which are the result of just about anybody becoming a media owner, are incredibly harmful. They are what moral decay is about. And as renewalists, we have only one means to counter that. We must remember to tidy up our energy of speech. And it's something that he talks of in an earlier paragraph, in an earlier chapter. But principally, the tidying up of speech is to not engage in gossip, which in this case would refer to not sharing or forwarding fake news and fake videos unless we have met the person concerned personally, humanly, and we feel we need to make the point for the benefit of the world at large. Now, what do you say to that, Christian? Because there are so many forwards and fake videos today, which could put anybody in a position of wondering what is reality. There's more
So
virtual and more artificial than reality. The A and V are more than the R. How do we get around that? Do we need to get around that? And what's your take on it?
I mean, I believe that human interaction cannot be equal by the digital interaction. We can keep contact with our parents far away or with friends far away online, that's fine. But few minutes of human interaction, they cannot be compared with hours of digital interaction. So at the same time, because our human interaction become less and less and less and less, just enough, even few minutes of meeting a person live to get a full range of emotion, something that cannot be described on a video or on a social media or something like
Can
this. At the opposite side,
Absolutely.
the communicators online, like digital marketeers, for example, or digital advertisers, they're getting smarter and smarter to generate bigger emotions in us simply with video and audio. We have the example by watching some new Hollywood movies. Now, typically the movies has to be nice, you watch on a screen, you enjoy, that's it. But now they are crafted in a way that we really ended up crying watching a good movie. So that's because they found a way to go down into our deepest emotion. So that's something that the huge companies, they got access to this kind of technology, this kind of idea, even from a video, to make us cry, to make us such a huge emotion. Obviously, there are always people doing it for good and people doing it for
True.
bad, by creating fake news, by let us believe that some political party is such a bad person because they want us to twist our mind to the other party. There are big corporates. They want to twist our mind, make us think that something is so dangerous that we need their solution. We need to buy their
Yeah.
solution to avoid those huge problem, seems huge problem. So this is something that is around, and unfortunately, the entity with the biggest pocket typically wins, because as much as we can do a nice movie, a nice communication, a nice message with our own best intention, but typically who come out with the biggest pocket wins. So it's not going to be an easy battle, but it's a battle that can be won anyway. Because when you are genuine, when everyone follow you because you are genuinely saying the good things, doing the things that you believe is right, then you get a decent amount of followers. And your followers are not simply going to be following or doing what you say. They're also going to part of your team, your group, your member, your community, your social network community. Those are individuals that can also fight for you. They can defend you if they feel that you are the right leader, the right charismatic person that's going to bring them to a different level, that's going to do the better for the society, better for the community. That's why ambientalists typically they succeed even online. But typically they use the online media to collect members, but they always go somewhere together to think about something. So digital is something to start the relationship, to keep the relationship together, but to build the bigger relationship, we always gonna need a real physical human interaction. Now, some of the your guys mentioned the virtual reality. That's a big thing because I've been trying myself. I got an Oculus Quest, and it's mind blowing how you really feel that you are somewhere. But for now, all of this,
Mm.
they make me feel that I'm somewhere else, that I have my own avatar. I can communicate with your avatar in this virtual world, but this avatar, it's not you. I don't see your facial expression. I don't see your emotion. Okay, I can feel how you move. If you move your hands, you move your face a little bit, but I don't feel you like I feel when I meet you in person. So for now, we are a little bit few years ahead, few years behind to having the same human interaction. And then I mean, when you talk about the voice quality, the video quality, it's all perfect. But again, I believe that few years from now, then we are almost in the situation where, like in few movies, we put a virtual reality headset and we're like conversating together, having joy together, having emotions together, having a trip together. I'm sitting in my room
Right.
in Dubai, you're sitting in your room in India, and we go around holiday around the world together. So still few emotions are not going to be as powerful as in real life, because I'm sure that in India, like in Italy, when we have a good laugh amongst friends, still going to be not the same when you have a good laugh with some people in online. Now, if you know the person a lot in real life, then you can have a group chat and you can have a laugh, but you are anchoring the same emotion that you already know, that you already had in real life. Not only that. Now, I see my kids having emotion or talking or remembering moments that they had with other online players, online gamers. So in the same way, they can say, I remember when we were in the mountain and we were playing and we saw a spider and we saw a web, because my kid one is 4 and one is 5. So they got emotional when they saw their first spider, and they remember it. At the same time, sometime they remember when they were playing Minecraft and they've built some kind of things. So they got some emotional trigger in their mind, even playing video games. So
Right.
that that's part of the game. That there are emotions that cannot be copied because they got it in real life, and there are others that they start and happen in the virtual world. Those are the ones that are competing with real emotion, with what we say real emotion, but in fact there is not real and fake emotion. There is simply emotion generated by a human interaction and others generated by playing video game or playing something.
Correct.
I answered
Correct.
quite a little bit
In
long,
fact,
but I
now
hope
that you mention
it
it,
was okay.
no, that's great. Because now that you mention it, I am reminded of when I'd gone to Japan. There was this little robo about the size of a 5-year-old, and she was speaking just like a very, very polite 5-year-old. And it was reminding me of one of the lines I had read. I don't know what the source was, but the line was that the biggest challenge that the current generation of kids is going to face is going to be the emotional challenge coming from machines, because those machines are setting the standards of how polite you've got to be and how sweet you've got to be and how you cannot have moods. and that brought out the truth of that. So what you're saying is true, and some very good points there, Christian. Movies, the way they emote, but great that we agree, and I find that our audience also agrees that, and I'm going to read the audience remark here, that renewalism is all the more important that it is the humane element in the scheme of things. And like you said, it is the humane element. That's what Guru Pranachandra also says. So the message to renewalists, as I conclude this today's program, is that do not depend on technology to the extent that you forget that your consciousness is the one that's building that technology, is the one that's using that technology, and the technology is merely an enabler. It's a great enabler because it saves the planet, but use it only for that. Don't use it to replace the interactions. Don't go to the extent of having your kids thinking that the spiders are only in virtual reality. The spiders are on that mountain. Allow them to climb that mountain, as Christian said. Right, sir?
Yes, 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 correct.
So we need to get our kids oriented to that, because when we are renewing ourselves and when you're renewing the planet, it's not gross dependence on technology that's going to do that for us. It's our realization that there is a human element which cannot be undermined. So I think that's where we are concluding. Any last words that you'd like to leave our viewers with?
I mean, you're touching a very important subject, the kids, because we want the best for our kids. And we always think, what's going to be the best? I'm going to need to allow them to use the technology or not, because they're going to become like a zombie depending on a screen. Now, I personally think that at the end of the day, every job in the planet requires some sort of technology knowledge. Imagine, even a doctor now, they cannot work as a doctor if they don't know how to send an email,
Absolutely.
how to use a computer. Now, even in the medical field, there is more and more and more robotic technology that allow a surgeon to operate at 1,000 kilometer distances. So imagine a doctor that don't know how to use technology. So I believe that it's always good that kids, they're gonna need to know the technology as the same way that they need to know languages, and they need to know some basic skill, emotional, some basic of emotional intelligence, some basic of even public speaking. This is something that kids, they need to learn before, how to speak in public, how to make them their idea public, communicated. So some sort of communication, it's always required. And at the same time, some level of technology. But again, not having them becoming zombie, it means for me that sometimes they need to play the typical normal games with a group of kids. If it's
Yeah.
football, if it's volleyball, if it's whatever it is, simply, as we say, play as a kids would play. But I mean, I know that technology can give you much more emotion than any other game. But still, because they never try any game, they enjoy doing it. So
Yeah.
it's good to have a mix of everything. Now, again, only the future can tell us. But again, I'm glad that my parents allow me from the age since I was 12 to have my first computer and to let me play video game at the computer, sometimes even too much. But that's, for example, that's why I became a successful digital marketer, because I was doing it for so many years before everyone else, using technology, and also use the technology in a way that nobody's ever used it before. So I was so good in knowing technology, and one day I decided, now I'm working in sales in Oracle, why I don't use the technology to generate more sales? And that's what I've been doing it on my own, without nobody teaching me how to do, simply because I was very good at it, and I found out other way to do the same job that I was doing it, but using more technology. So I believe that kids fully enabled with digital technology can really do miracle in the world of tomorrow. Now, hopefully, we send them to the right direction, and they are gonna help our society to grow a better place. But that again, it's up to us to start them in the right direction. Then it's
Right.
up to them to follow or not. But I believe that in simple term, I don't think that there is going to be a crazy future by having technology with us. So, and then I'm glad that you are involved into this kind of discipline. That's also, it's true that we're going into a society that nobody can predict. So the renewalism, it's a great concept that I personally believe that you were perfect right in following that idea.
Fantastic, fantastic. On that note, I urge you to go to renewalism.com and pick up a copy so you get a more intense insight into what your role is in saving the planet. And join us tomorrow, same page, 9 p.m. We're going to be joined in another technology discussion, and that's going to be on solar technologies. So, till
Wonderful.
then, have a great rest of the evening or whichever part of the world you're in, and have a great day. And we see you tomorrow, 9 p.m. India time. Take care.
Take care, guys. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Good night.